All right, y'all, here we go. I am back. It is me, the resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. I am here with my review for Spider-Man No Way Home. I am going to say this loud, clear, make sure you understand me. If you have not seen this yet, or if you do not give a shit, I am going to talk everything. Everything, everything, okay? Spoilers all the way through it. So I don't want to hear at no point in the comments, where you spoil it. I'm telling you now. I'm dragging this out telling you there will be spoilers. Okay? I am telling you this specifically so you know. Now you have a chance to pause the video so when you see the movie, you can bring your ass back. And now, here's your moment. Your moment has passed. I got a chance to see this joint when everybody else did. Everybody dropped their reactions and videos and reviews. It's Tuesday as I'm recording this. Everybody dropped it last night. Nigga, I was tired. Been in Vegas all weekend for the first time. I'll talk about that, catch on blurs. But then I had to come in, do the screening, excuse me. Actually, I got off the plane, came home, changed clothes, went to the gym for 2 hours, then had to change clothes up again, change clothes, go to the screening, then go do a stand-up show. But the movie stays fresh in my mind because this shit is amazing. Everybody has praised Tom Holland as Spider-Man since his arrival in Captain America Civil War. This has to be, thus far, his best portrayal. You got a level of emotion with him in Infinity War, but the shit you get out of him here is off the meter. The show, of course, starts out, the movie starts out like they said. It is immediately after No Way Home. I mean, Far From Home, excuse me. No Way Home, Far From Home. I'm still a little tired. It's immediately after Far From Home. So there's not like weeks past. Like soon as Far From Home is ending, this is going right into it. So, of course, you got Peter trying to avoid everybody after being exposed about his identity by Mysterio and whatnot. And he's trying to avoid he's trying to avoid everybody. You see the part of the commercial where him on Ned on the phone like, dude. And then Mary Jane's on the bridge. So all that happens. Then we see Peter trying to navigate life through senior year of high school at Midtown as everybody knowing he's Spider-Man. Like, he's trying to consistently, just be ignored. He's just like, yo, I don't want everybody to know. There's a part right when after everybody, with the bridge shit, he sneaks back into his apartment with Aunt May. He manages to sneak back. Now they're trying to get through crowds. They can't go through the air. It's helicopters follow them. They go through the subway and all this shit. He's trying to take the suit off real quick, and Mary Jane's in the room. Aunt May opens the door, and it's just Peter in his suit and his drawers. And they like, oh, Peter, okay, I'm sorry, let y'all have that moment. Also, Happy is sad because him and Maiden broke up. Like, this nigga's emotional. It's like a really sad breakup. But all of that plays out into the humor that we've been getting through these Spider-Man films, right? The level of the teenage angst, if you will. So you get all of that. And it gets to the point where Peter, MJ, and Ned are trying to apply to colleges. Again, for the three of them, they know this is a thing. Especially after talking to the police, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying to get into college. They just want to get into college. They just want to go to school. At one point, Happy, Aunt May, and Peter at a house talking to a lawyer, and that lawyer is Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. It is Matt Murdock officially. Yes, Kevin Feige said he would be back. Yes, a still leaked, which was taken from Video Village. For those who've ever been on a set, Video Village is where, while everything is happening on the set that's being filmed, there's an area where the director, producers, and writers and script supervisor are watching on a screen, and somebody took a picture of that, and that was sent out, that leaked. And so Charlie Cox is there telling him as a lawyer what he can do, blah, blah, blah. Happy's under investigation, and at some point, because again, everybody believes Mysterio, because Mysterio is made to be this big hero after everything he put out and everything, and then showing about how, Peter made it seem like Peter unleashed all the drones, et cetera, et cetera. Somebody throws a brick through May's window, and while Charlie Cox's back is to the window, so you got, if I'm where Charlie Cox is sitting, you got Peter right here, Aunt May right here, and Happy right here, I believe, and somebody throws a brick through the window, and Matt Murdock just goes, whoop, and catches it, and everybody looked like, what the fuck? And he was like, I'm a really good lawyer. So you never see him as Daredevil, but you do know Daredevil is officially in the MCU. There is not a shadow of a doubt. You know, Matt Murdock is there. He's actually been working as Daredevil, clearly. So all this is going on, of course, and then, you know, we get to the point where Peter wants to, you know, he goes to Doctor Strange, and, you know, he's trying to figure out how to get this to stop. And Strange has done a spell like this before, and Wong is telling him not to do it. And Strange is like, yo, do you remember this certain party? And Wong's like, no. And he was like, exactly. And so we get to the scene we've seen in the trailers where all that happens with the spell. Well, you don't see what Peter is doing to mess up the spell is, again, when Doctor Strange says the world is about to forget everybody's about to forget who Spider-Man is. And he's like, wait, everybody? Well, what about MJ? What about Ned? What about my May? Everybody who I know personally. And so all these times him having to change the spell fucks things up, which is how we, of course, get the villains. I thought initially, I had predictions, and I've said it on several shows. I've said it in, you know, reviews and all this different thing, that I thought that they would be the same villains from different universes. I was wrong, and I'm fine with that. They all are pulled in. All the villains you find out are pulled in at a point almost right before they die in their respective films. So when you see Doc Ock, it's right before he's about to, in Spider-Man 2, right before he dies with the whole drowning the sun thing, but right when he's trying to kill MJ and all that, that's when he shows up. Then, of course, you get the Goblin showing up. It gets better because at some point there's some shit going on in a forest, and he thinks it's maybe the Goblin, him being Peter. This is after, by the way, so when we see the black and gold suit, which I believe is an homage to like a mystical type of suit in one of the comics, please forgive me if I don't know or if I forgot. Again, I'm trying to recall as much as the movie. Well, we're still being half exhausted. It's just he wore his suit in reverse because someone threw paint on the suit. So the spectacular suit that he has, the black and red, somebody threw paint on it and he couldn't clean it out. So he just wears it in reverse. And so that's why we see it the way it looks. It's not a brand new suit. It's just a suit in reverse. He's just wearing it inside out. But the way Electro comes, and then the lizard pops up, and all this stuff, and then you see at one point, Strange has put them in like a prison, a magical prison. Here was the best part. So when Electro shows up, Jamie Foxx is butt ass naked, right? And at point that, like, you know, Ned them looking, he's like, yo, the Sandman actually shows up too. And look, Jamie Foxx says, so we're just not going to acknowledge the fact that I'm standing here butt ass naked. Like, there's certain things in a film where you're like, yo, ain't nobody gonna acknowledge this or bring this up? Because, like, the audience, we see this. We pay attention to these small little details. And they did. And I bring that up because another part happens where the lizard is in a cage, and he's like, sees Electro Max. And he's like, Max, the last time I saw you, you had glasses, messed up teeth, and a comb over. What happened? Did you get a makeover? And I was like, thank God they acknowledged it. Because again, that's how I kept getting my, okay, this must be the Max Dillon from another universe, because this motherfucker ain't fluorescent. He's got his skin and he ain't got the comb over. So it's like, cool. All right, you're waiting for it. We'll talk about it. To find out all these, you know, are getting in there. Ned tells Doctor Strange at one point his family thinks he's magic. This motherfucker steals Doctor Strange's sling ring and sends Doctor Strange off for a while. This is after Peter and Aunt May are being told that, Aunt May tells Peter that you can't, let me say this the right way. Of course, we heard the line in the trailers, all these villains were fated to die by the hand of Spider-Man. So Peter knows if they get sent back immediately where they were, they're going to die. Well, the Goblin, who is still half and half, remember there's half Goblin and half Norman, and Norman is still trying to be like, I don't want to be like this. And the Goblin's like, you a whole bitch. Like it's that. So he reaches out to Aunt May because he hears that May knows Peter Parker. He's thinking it's his Peter. It's the Tobey Maguire Peter. So when that Peter shows up, it's not him. But May is like, oh, this man is, you know, lost. He needs help. And, you know, you can't send him back to die, et cetera, et cetera. Strange is like, yo, they got to go back because this shit is going to be bad. That's when you see Peter stealing the box that we see in the trailers that was going to be used to send him back, and he get his shit knocked out his body. But that happens. In the process of all that, while they're running, that's when Ned steals the sling ring, and they send Doctor Strange's ass off. Excuse me. There's a lot to the visual effects in this movie. This movie gets really, really deep. Tom Holland said some things in an interview about the fight scenes, and there was going to be stuff that we've just never seen before. It's going to be a level of like brutality. And you were wondering probably what level of brutality do you actually get? Yeah, you're going to get the fights, your normal fights with your villains and Spider-Man and stuff, and we've seen those. And yeah, one gets thrown into a brick wall, one gets thrown through a wall or something like that, one gets hit by a car, all these different things we've seen. But what level of brutality can you get? I don't know what got in the Green Goblin spirit, but this nigga beat the dog piss out of Spider-Man, and I'm talking Tom Holland. He kept power bombing and slamming this nigga through everything. I mean, was beating the shit. I verbally went out in the theater and yelled out, "God damn!" like 12 times, because he was thumping the fuck out of him. He was beating him so bad, his face. That shouts out to the makeup team on this film, because they made Peter look like he'd been getting his ass up. Like he got whooped like Tommy Hearns whooped Martin in that episode of Martin. Like he almost had the pumpkin head shit. You have that level of fight, and then you go later on in the end of the film where you have Peter beating the brakes off of the Green Goblin. Now, I'm giving you some spoilers. There's a reason why he beats the dog shit out the Goblin. I won't tell you just yet. You probably have seen it, but I don't think I should tell you that much. All right. I've been looking at the time I'm recording and how long did I feel should I drag this out, because everybody wants to ask the question. Yes, they're in it. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, both are there. And the introductions of them, Ned has a sling ring and he's trying to find Peter Parker. And Peter is in the background in a suit, but it's not the Peter they think. It's another Spider-Man comes through. It's Andrew Garfield. And like, MJ and Ned, they're in Ned's grandma's house, I believe it, or his mom's house. And like, oh shit, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm Spider-Man. Like, yo, I got the suit. I can do this. And so she was like, MJ was like, I don't believe you. He's like, yo, what? I just go around dressed like this and all these different things. And so he jumps and sticks to the ceiling by one hand. Was like, is this proof enough? And then MJ was like, crawl around. It's like, why? Because that doesn't mean you can do anything. Do I need to? I'm sticking to the ceiling by my fingers. A lot of jokes happen here with Andrew Garfield. And then, Ned again, find Peter. Tobey Maguire comes through. And he looks older. Like, Andrew Garfield doesn't look like he's aged much. Granted, he already looked older when he was doing Amazing Spider-Man. But Tobey Maguire, and again, it's been 20 years since the first, 21 years since the first Spider-Man he was in. And so, he's aged a bit, but you see it, and it's like, it's just good to see. I mean, you can see it feels, for Tobey Maguire, his introduction to the movie, it's like, it feels surreal, but it feels good. And after a while, things start flowing. All the jokes you used to hear in the Raimi Spider-Mans and in the Amazing Spider-Man where, oh, my back from the Tobey Maguire, all that different things you had, all these different jokes and how they play off each other. And one of the funniest parts to me is the webs. Because, of course, Tom Holland, web shooter. Andrew Garfield, web shooter. Tobey Maguire shoots it from his wrist. And so at one point, Andrew Garfield was like, is that the only place you shoot webs from? He was like, I don't think that's cool. Like, do you ever have just like web blockage? And I'm just like, yo, everybody is dying laughing because you got to hear it in its full context. But they are in it. And you get a lot with the three of them. There's a lot of emotion with the lessons that they're teaching Tom Holland's Peter. And the understanding, and one of the big things, and them talking about they worked with a team. And Tom Holland at one point says, yo, I'm tell you this, I was a member of the Avengers, and Tobey Maguire was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Who are the Avengers? They don't exist in his universe. Neither do they exist in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. And so you're seeing all these different things play out with that. The big scene that everyone sees in the trailer where the Statue of Liberty with the Steve Rogers shield, and you see Doctor Strange, I can't hold them, they're coming through. At one point, the multiverse is shattering open, and you're starting to see silhouettes of various Spider-Man villains coming through. You see a silhouette of the Rhino, the actual Rhino, a silhouette of the Scorpion. You see a silhouette of Kraven the Hunter. All these different people coming through. So Kraven might get through. So to explain the Kraven movie, I wouldn't be surprised if he was almost coming through and then something happened. Now he's got to hunt. But again, not knowing the full details of where this continued partnership with Marvel Studios and Sony and Tom Holland fall, is he going to slip through a crack somehow being Kraven to hunt Tom Holland, or is he hunting Morbius, or, all these other things? This movie gives you so much of what you asked for. Here's the thing. I said this to a few people even before the film started. Even if Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Charlie Cox, and a few others don't ever show up, it's still been a Spider-Man movie, which in this incantation, all have been relatively good. So I don't think it was going to be possible to be a bad film, if that makes sense. You're looking, we enjoyed Homecoming. We were like, man, I get to see Spider-Man as a kid who is a kid. Yeah, we saw it kind of with the Toby and with the Andrew, but it was like, this is more of a kid, right? And then you watching him go through life and all the shit. Now you got him dealing with the world, knowing his identity and everything. And this one just kept building on that. And then we get to the end where, after everyone is sent back, all the villains go back to where they're going to go. All the Spider-Man go back to where they're going to go. The spell finally gets done where Peter has Doctor Strange make everybody forget who Spider-Man is. Well, who Peter Parker is. Because now Peter walks the streets and no one knows. He goes to reintroduce himself to MJ and sees that MJ and Ned are getting their life to go right, and it's not affected by him, because he's learning that, he even says it, his friends' lives are affected by him for something they didn't do. And so he's happy with that. Instead of trying to interject into their lives, he's happy with letting them live their lives on their own. Happy seeing May and all these different things, and May not knowing, and all these other stuffs, all these different things where no one knows. And he just, he moves into his own apartment now. And then we see he has a sewing machine. He makes a suit, and he makes his own classic suit. And it's just, because again, there's no Stark tech. There's no Stark tech for him. Unless he figures out how to rig the suit, the spectacular suit, or the Iron Spider suit. But I don't know if that affects with the spell. We'll have to see. I tried to keep some things kind of out of the context of this review on purpose. I said earlier I was going to probably say everything, but I feel like it would do a lot of disservice to tell you every single thing that happens in this film. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 9.5. It's a few little things I was like, man, I wanted more of, or I wanted something different to happen, but it didn't change the quality of the movie. Some people are going to ask, was Miles Morales in it? No. But there is a nod to Miles. There is a nod to Miles to let you know he's coming in this incantation in a live action form. Because again, we all thought with the universe shit, Miles might pop up. He doesn't. So that's one thing I will tell you. You do not get a Miles Morales. That was something for me and a lot of others. We were like, damn, I wanted Miles. Even if it was just a breakthrough or something, because kind of to tie in with all the shit that we've seen for the trailer for throughout the Spider-Verse Part 1 into Spider-Verse 2, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I know it seems like I'm going all over the place with this. I wanted to make sure, like I said, I told you enough that you were expecting Daredevil, yes. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, yes. But there are a bunch of other things you will not expect. And when I tell you, this motherfucking movie takes you on a ride. Look, y'all all know if you rock with your boy, you know I try to keep my reviews, my thoughts, opinions, whatever, always 100 with y'all. I don't have to do this to get paid by anybody to do this. I do this because I love it, and people just want to hear what I got to say. And for some reason, y'all fucks with your boy. You are going to enjoy the ride in this. Don't put this on a super pedestal where nothing can go wrong, because some things can, again, there's some things you want to happen that don't happen. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. But for the most part, you are going to enjoy this movie. You are going to love it. You are going to laugh. You're going to have some old shits. You're going to cry. You're going to do a lot. That's all I'm saying. I'm dropping this Friday morning. I'm dropping Friday morning. Okay, so it's Friday morning when this comes out. So many people will have gone to the Thursday night screenings. If you've seen it, you've watched it, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. All right, find when I'm dropping more videos. We're also going to do, and I say we, me and my Blurs in the Hood co-host, Winston A. Marshall, we're going to do a simulcast, simultaneous Blurs review of this as well. So we're doing this. We've done our individuals, and we're going to do a Blurs in the Hood one. So we'll have that on the Blurs in the Hood channel, which, by the way, you should check out live every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com, and twitch.tv/Blurs in the Hood, BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. All right? So make sure you check that out. For those who know, the Mad Titan podcast is on hiatus till the first of the year. We'll be back after the new year, trying to get all this shit together, coming back strong. I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. Barbershop Talk for Nerds, as I always say, bring your ass in the convo. Yeah. So, if I don't see you for another review or another trailer reaction or whatever, if you haven't joined the Supervillain Squad and on my Patreon to support, if you want to support people who join my squad at $5 a month, and there's some people in my one-on-one with the Supervillain tier, and we just sit down for about at least 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. And so people support over there, patreon.com/Mr. J. Washington. But if I don't see you, if you don't see me, we don't correspond, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, be safe. Be with your loved ones. Be back in 2022. Rock with your boy. I'm out.